up, it's cinemashogun here, and right now, when it comes to the Savanah Soto case, we are in like this weird time period. And I see this happen with every case. It's like the time period where you're not getting any new information. The suspects have been caught, but your questions still aren't answered, and there's no real new information coming out. And that is causing people to speculate and come up with wild theories. Of course, you have your people who, no matter how many people are arrested, no matter how much information you get, people are always going to think there's something more. There's got to be someone else out there that needs to get arrested. You know, it's just this weird little period. It happens with every case. And when you look at the discussions surrounding this case right now, they aren't really discussions at all. It's just arguments. Now you got a lot of weird fake pages popping up. People impersonating Savanah. Posting a lot of weird and wild stuff. I always tell people that when it comes to true crime, you'll meet some of the you'll meet some of the kindest, most compassionate people this world has to offer. But at the same time, it's like a toxic environment. And I don't even like using the word toxic, but the true crime community, it often feels like high school. But not high school for a dude, high school for like a chick. It's like mean chicks. It gets really catty. It gets really catty. And as a dude, you know, I have a hard time kind of understanding why things get this way. And I get drug into the nonsense sometime as well. But it is what it is. But anyways, we're in that weird time period. So there's all types of people at each other's throats. Everyone still wants to know, you know, where these two individuals were even killed. You know, there's big chunks of information that's just missing. And a lot of people don't understand why, including myself. Like, at this point, I don't understand why we don't know where Savanah and Matthew were killed. But anyways, during this little confusing time, Matthew Guerra's mother has been speaking out. And she revealed some really weird kind of information. I don't know what to make of it. But she claims that she used to be in a cult. Matthew Guerra's mother claims that she used to be in a cult, or like a church that was very cultish, and that she exposed this cult. And now this cult is like speaking out, making videos saying that Savanah and Matthew and the baby deserved what was coming to them. I guess this was a church they used to attend. I don't know. But they're literally making videos saying Matthew deserved to die. Savanah deserved to die. Little baby Fabian, he deserved to die. So things are getting really wild. I want to go ahead and show you Matthew's mother's post. As if what we're not dealing with is enough. I find out that the cult, yes, cult, I was born and raised in, makes a video about my son, daughter-in-law, and grandson, saying I deserve what happened to us. What kind of religion is that? It makes me sick to my stomach. Why do they do this? Why do they harass everyone that speaks up about their Chomo leader, Nason Joaquin Garcia? Hold up. I gotta pause right there. What? So, I'm guessing, listen, I don't know what's going on here. I know other people, they'll go dig through everyone's information. When it comes to true crime cases, I'm worried about the case. I don't do background checks on the second cousin's mom twice removed that has nothing to do with it. I know weirdos in the true crime community, they love digging up information about people who have nothing to do with anything. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I even know what this lady's talking about. But her words, not mine. Apparently, she used to be a part of a cult. That cult is now harassing her, saying they're glad that her kid and Savanah and the unborn child are dead, that she deserved it. And I guess this is all because she exposed the leader, which happens to be someone who really likes kids. I mean, I wish I knew all of this information going into this case. I'm not saying this information is like crucial to the case, but I already know Savanah's side of the family has enemies on the streets. We've heard that Matthew has enemies on the streets. The lifestyle he lives, of course, you got people who aren't going to like you or who want what you have. But I didn't know that you got a religious cult that hates you. That would have been nice to have known. I'm not saying it has anything to do with the case, but let's say this case wasn't solved, right? Let's say we're still out here wondering who killed Matthew and Savanah and why. Isn't this an interesting piece of information that maybe you should have revealed? That you're at odds with the religious cult and you've exposed their leader for doing weird things to kids, and now they're making videos talking about how happy they are that Matthew and Savanah are dead and that you deserve it? You know, I start looking at Christopher and Big Murder. I start looking at them like, are y'all part of that cult? I don't think they are. I don't think this has anything to do with why Matthew and Savanah were killed. I'm just saying, like, this is some new information I didn't know about. But let's go forward. This is just disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves. This so-called church, La Luz del Mundo, aka the light of the world, does not practice love. It practices hatred. Go watch all the documentaries out there, Netflix, HBO, and soon in the US by the A&E channel. Also, where I publicly spoke up first on Brian Ross, Law and Crime channel. Stay away from this evil cult. Okay, maybe I need to do some digging now. Because I'm kind of confused. Maybe I missed something. I haven't been paying attention to the chatter for the last couple of days because, like I said, it's just a bunch of catty nonsense, people at each other's throats for no apparent reason. But from what she says, I mean, it looks here, she says that she spoke out against this cult on the Law and Crime channel. I didn't know that Matthew's mom was on the Law and Crime channel before, let alone she was out here exposing cults. So that's all I'm saying is this is really interesting information. And considering the fact that your son was murdered and there was this big mystery, I think maybe you should have revealed this information sooner. I'm glad we know it now. I don't know what this has to do with anything other than the fact that they are now harassing you. But this is kind of scary. It's kind of creepy. I'm going to look into it and see if I can find out more. But you know, Savanah's, her funeral was delayed because of certain reasons, and now the funeral is tomorrow. And looking at this information right here, I mean, on one hand, we know Savanah's family has enemies, right? They were fighting and beating up people in court. We know that they got people in the streets that don't like Savanah's family. Like I said before, we know Matthew has enemies. Now we know that we have a whole cult that has it out for Matthew's family. Yet for some reason, the location and the time of Savanah's funeral needs to be blasted to people all over the world. I don't get it. I think it's idiotic. I think it's stupid. And I think it's dangerous. And for the people in the true crime community, what business do you have needing to know when and where this funeral is going to take place? You got people all across the country, nowhere near San Antonio, who aren't going to go to the funeral, yet they feel Like they need to know when and where the funeral is going to take place. Like they have a right to know. Because we joined a Facebook group or we watched a YouTube video, we have the right to know the public time and location of Savanah's funeral. We're entitled to know this information. No, you're not. Hell, I don't even get why people are so fascinated and need to know this. Why? You got people in freaking Alaska, people in freaking Sweden. We need to know the time and date of Savanah's funeral. You're not going to fucking go. Why do you need to know this information? But because people in the true crime community and online sleuths who aren't going to go anywhere near this funeral feel the need to know the exact time, date, and location. Now all of a sudden this cult knows the date, time, and location too. Now Matthew's enemies, Savanah's enemies, they all know the date and location of when this funeral is going to take place. Now for people who haven't lived a certain lifestyle, for people who don't understand how the streets work, for people who don't understand how people operate when you're living this lifestyle, putting out public information, dropping your location is a no-no. I don't know how many of you all listen to rap music. Some of you all have maybe heard of Yo Gotti. Yesterday, Yo Gotti's friend or Yo Gotti's brother was murdered. Right before he was murdered, he attended a public funeral. A funeral where everyone knew when and where it was going to be. So everyone's enemies, they knew. Okay, we know this person's going to show up to this funeral. We know that person's going to show up to this funeral. So they sat, they waited, they watched, and they caught him leaving the funeral. They found out where he was, they tracked him down, and they killed him. This happens a whole lot. It happens all the time. This is one of those times. A funeral is one of those rare occasions where you know damn sure everyone that's close to this person is going to pop up. And you know that people have their guard down. You're here to cry. You're here to be with family. You're in a vulnerable spot, and people like to prey on people in vulnerable moments. So blasting the information about where Savanah's funeral is and what time to strangers on the internet, it's not needed. And if you're someone that's sharing this information all over Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and Snapchat, and everything, please stop. Because you aren't helping anything. You're telling total strangers, oh, Savanah's funeral is going to be here, and it's going to be at this time. And at the same time, people who hate Savanah, people who hate Matthew, maybe even this whole cult that we didn't know about until yesterday, maybe they may show up. Maybe they may track one of these family members back home. You know, you just don't know what could happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, we're just in this weird period. We're still waiting to find out more information, and things are starting to get weird. Now there's talks of cults and stuff like that. Who knows what will happen next? But as of right now, I don't think we'll be getting too much more information about this case. I think they're going to come out and answer some questions eventually, but maybe not. Maybe we'll have to wait until court. You never know. Let me know your thoughts, though, about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to the channel via Super Thanks, or you can donate via Cash App. That comes to me directly. YouTube doesn't get a cut. My Cash App will be in the pinned comment of this video. Or you can help the channel for free by liking, sharing, subscribing, ringing the notification bell, all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.